as we get started with league play for the European region. Let's do it. It's Method versus AERIALITY, our first match of the day. With the commentary is Shogun and Final Carpet. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Axon. Yes, it is time for European gameplay. AERIALITY versus Method to start us off. I actually feel like AERIALITY is being underrated here. They have been a solid team for a long period of time. They're actually the team I thought was going to drop out of top 8 into the RLCS, not the other way around.
Really?
Yes.
You thought they were going to make it and then drop out?
They were a top 8 team coming into last week. I just expected, all right, we only got 6 slots. They were going to struggle.
I'm a bit surprised that all 3 voted for Method, but I do, I guess it's tough, right? Because we're going with just experience of what we've seen here on this stage, and we haven't seen much of these players. 2 brand new players to RLCS, and we've seen so many times what that does to people. We've seen that you just watch them start to fall apart week after week after week because the pressure's building up. But I do, you said Continuum from Season 1 with my boy Zero Effort, I think is where they started. He was with Tinny and Cheerio. Yeah, that wasn't probably not the best example we want to give because that was a bad season. But that was 2 seasons ago, so obviously he's had a lot of time to grind it up. We've seen players improve.
Well, Continuum has been keeping himself busy trying to put together a roster to make himself get back into the RLCS. Whilst on the side of Method, they have been busy boys over the summer, playing in the G-Finity Elite Series, getting to the semi-finals of that, where they lost substitutes playing in that game, Tylacto and Flame. So these guys have got some history together. Early start to this matchup. And he's playing early into defense, and Continuum's bad touch gives it straight over, and Magnus will take that. Scored 10 games in a row during the G-Finity Elite Series. He'll try and continue that in this season of the RLCS.
Probably should have given that up to Flame. I imagine that was a miscommunication. Continuum had a really weak touch. He felt panicked and forced into that, not knowing that Flame was right behind him and could have probably gotten a much more significant clear.
Opportunity for a lot to move forward. Going to put that to his side. Tylacto a little bit too close and needed to hold himself back a little bit further. Didn't let himself run onto the save and couldn't push into the corner.
All right, time to straighten up the tie, boys. And I mean like the one on your neck. I guess maybe try and tie the game up as well, but it's 2-0, 24 seconds in. Seems that Method has this. Kickoffs, I'm always a little torn on how they result. Sometimes your team just kind of panics. Kickoff goals aren't exactly always a true representation of how your team is playing, but they need to be careful and not give away these silly goals.
Well, it is RLCS debuts for Tylacto and Flame. Need to try and keep those emotions and those nerves under control because they are taking on a team of players that are slowly coming veterans of the scene. Taking part as many tournaments as possible. Method picking up 2nd place at the Universal Open. Only losing to Gale Force eSports. Big demo there from Continuum, but can he follow that up? No, it'll be coming through from Flame. Come down to the end of the opening minute. Finally something a little bit better now. We've reached open play. AERIALITY starting to show that they can challenge in that midfield. But they need solid contact. Tylacto has given that up. Metznaris has got options, actually leaves it for Magnus, who just powers it over to the corner. Crucial touch there from Continuum, keeping that away. It's going to be really, really important for AERIALITY to keep looking for each other, something they are struggling to do right now.
Yeah, at the moment it feels like they're just trying not to make any mistakes. They're really struggling to work as a team at the moment. They're just trying to make sure that each of their touches is hopefully something useful, pushing it out in a way, buying themselves some time. Continuum now driving up all alone. Tylacto's up there. Oh, did he get a shot? He almost was able to put that on target.
But the first danger pulling out from AERIALITY is the first time they've actually had a chance to look for each other. Tylacto shot too early, goes off the crossbar. Flame's gonna have an opportunity to turn around, goes for the side flip to try and avoid his teammates, and Magnus can move himself in. Continuum is there in time, and Tylacto can push that over to the side.
That was probably the gaspiest gasp I've had. That was a real gasp.
Go get you will again. I'm sure we can do much worse. Oh, nice touch from Continuum. We'll be attempting to follow up, but no. Metznaris using that back post rotation will get himself there in time to push it into the corner.
Just trying to contest, keeping Flame packed. Oh, a lot missing it though. Continuum will be able to try and drive this through.
So Method, they like to pride themselves as the fastest team in the world. Not really showing it right now, ever since getting that 2-0 lead. Sitting back on that rotation, playing a lot smarter, not wanting to give away a free goal to this AERIALITY squad, who we saw last week can be so lethal when you give them an opportunity. He's now off that backboard. Magnus gets that pushed away. And AERIALITY, they need to start making use of those cutting infield passes because they are not going to put anything past this 3-man defense on the side of Method. Nets traps it. Tylacto's over on the side, but they need to start committing. Tylacto's got it past one. A lot's pretty close as well. That's going to be cut into the middle. Off that backboard will be followed up. It's going to go straight down. They'd want more, but Nasonaris is right there. Not allowing it.
I cannot believe he was actually able to read that second touch from the second player. And while it may have been slow, it's still difficult to understand who's going to gain control, and Nasonaris took the gamble and won.
Tylacto with a miss as well. We followed up, but Flame has got him covered. Final 90 seconds, and those opening misses are going to still punish AERIALITY as they look for a way back in. Showing much more signs of the team that did manage to conquer the leftovers last week. Ever since then, final minute. Slowly daunting. That's going to be another shot towards Tylacto. Going to pick himself up the Savior medal. And a lot more back passes now being utilized as well by Method. They just want to keep the ball away. There is nothing else that is important. AERIALITY right now, Carpet. What's the major flaw that we're seeing with their offense? What are they really struggling to do when it comes to penetrating this Method defensive side?
I mean, they're doing offensive plays kind of as individuals and trying to make something out of it, but you mentioned it earlier, they're not getting any of those tight, hard passes towards the midfield, keeping it off that back wall. They're getting a couple good plays around one or two defenders, but they're not actually able to force the defense to play their own hand.
Shot played pretty early by Tylacto on the halfway line. Can be covered pretty well by a lot. He follows up his own save. Mets just pushing it yet again. Method still rotating as far back as possible. Not allowing any mistakes to continue. It's actually got an open net to aim for. 9 seconds remaining. AERIALITY, there is hope.
This one's actually kind of a tough shot. It might not be the hardest shot, but to be able to put that on target, and he actually went for like the nice high shot right towards the middle of the net, not grounding it, didn't want to take any risk, but it gives him 9 seconds and then some change if they can keep the ball off the ground to try and tie this up.
The kickoff win goes towards Magnus. He has been taken out for his trouble. Flame has to be here first, but a lot will fake it out on the wall. Lovely time wasting and score himself a goal. All tension has been dissipated by a lot.
He knew that they were just going to be going all in, full boost, just tape the B button down, who cares? We have seconds to get this goal. He slowed it down to the point where they had no idea how to readjust, and AERIALITY will give up the final goal of this game.
So, Method taking the first win of the European RLCS with 2 early goals that really catapulted them towards a really comfortable game, apart from they have a clench time in the last 9 seconds, but pretty much owned that match overall. 10 shots to 4. A lot more passing plays. AERIALITY, they need to start making use of each other. There is no time to start getting used to matchups in the RLCS, because by the time you are pretty used to your opponents, you've already lost.
Yeah, and it really, I mean, you said, not only the shots, but Method only had to do 1 save that whole series, or whole game, I should say. Only 1 save that entire game. One of them probably didn't register, that super slow one where they were all like falling down together.
I think Mets, the only one that, might be Mets is, because there's Mets and there's a Lots push-up, which I think was the one that was registered.
Yeah. So, they really didn't have to work very hard on defense, but it was 3-1, and the first 2 goals were kickoff goals. And while, yes, there are ways to outplay your opponents on... And
the last one came pretty quickly after the kickoff as well.
That is true. So it feels like neither team can really outplay each other once they're in full flow, whether they're getting their boost and they actually feel like they have rotations. They're struggling to beat each other out. First game in the series, I imagine, blah, 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 blah. They're feeling the jitters.
Yep.
They do it to us. I don't want to use it as an excuse, but like we always see teams take like 2 or 3 games before they're giving us their all,
Yeah, well, we saw it yesterday for Emotion, performing much better in their series against NRG than they did against the Renegades. So it's a case of sometimes you can just have to get used to the stage and realize there aren't eyes on you. You're still playing at home. It's just another match. But it's another match that has got a lot of money running on it. And something that AERIALITY will need to try and get themselves used to. Saw Tylacto last week mentioning that it was so nice to finally perform on the big stage. A team that has got so used to beating the teams that they should be beating and just falling short against the teams that they have just got slightly placed above them in power rankings. Finding that first big win against the leftovers pushed them into the RLCS. So continuing trying to push that all the way down. As he's going to continue. Push this now, Flame in the corner.
I think that was the
Continuum takes it.
Yeah, I think that was the first demolition of the series. you usually expect a little more aggression out of Europe. Like to do it when they can. They like to get a couple of demos. But we've seen North America kind of doing that. And there's another one now getting revenge. Metzenarus on Tylacto. Magnus, can he put the shot up a lot? Just missing it, and they leave it wide open for Flame to put it over. And look at the first goal of this game.
Same way they conceded the last one as well, putting too many players forward. And Flame will happily take that. You won't get many easier goals than that against Method.
Feels like they wanted to dedicate to that. Like they thought they really had it once they had that demolition and that first touch towards in front of the net. But once Malat missed that shot, it left his third man just a bit too close.
Well, Rocket League is a game of decision making. You don't get much time to make those decisions either. Basically, whatever your first thought is what you're doing. And that first thought has got to be good. A lot will try and push it to the side, but struggles to make contact. AERIALITY holding on to their lead, but they will not want to take on too much defensive time against Method. Flame pushing into the corner, going to look for to continue him. There's a lot of boost used. Thankfully, the follow-up means that they cannot be automatically put pressure on. We're going along. Method playing long balls. Trying to look for that backboard. They've actually managed to find it. It's going to be pushed over to the side, but there will be no follow-up. Metzenarus trying to create something from nothing, and he was not able to. Now the follow-up, but Tylacto just isn't there.
Tylacto is trying to play that mid-roll where he's staying at midfield, not retreating on defense unless he's totally needed, because he knows they need that offensive pressure at times just to keep Method off their back.
Into the middle, a lot continues to try and put this forward. Magnus in that third man role, gets it off that backboard yet again. It's got a long time from AERIALITY. Method prioritizing defense, but if they chose to go for the offense, they could have got it. Still looking for shots. AERIALITY wanting to continue to put their lead even further up in that big demo. Remove Metzenarus from the play and allow midfield rotation. So quick, and it does seem like Method are the much quicker team on the midfield so far. Now Alot will try to be the quicker player to that ball. He is the quicker player to that ball, and now we are all tied up.
Watching this from Tylacto's perspective, he did not know when Alot was going to make contact with that. That flip was so early, you couldn't really tell exactly where the corner of his car was going to make contact, so he didn't have enough time to cut off the angles, and Alot will sneak one in to tie it up.
It's a big problem when you're the only man in defense and you know the ball is being contested in the corner by one of your teammates. You have two choices to make. Either A, you think they're going to win it and you go into an offensive position to try and take the next ball, or B, you don't think they're going to win it and you go for a defensive rotation. Tylacto with the cardinal sin of trusting his teammates too much. He's going to now take that one just over the top. Tylacto into the middle. That is an open net, and once again, Method just being outpaced once, and it seems like that one mistake is all it takes.
Magnus being last probably should have waited for one more touch, knowing that even at best he would have gotten a 50-50, would have truly have gone in his favor from that angle. I think it was a bit too hard to tell, but knowing he was last man, he saw both of his teammates way up the field. His job was to buy some time. I think he maybe should have waited for that one touch in the corner and then tried to slow it down there.
And the nice thing about seeing players in the corner is you usually know where it's coming from. That's going to go off the post. But yeah, I do agree with you. Played that a little bit too early. Flame actually putting that one straight down into a very difficult position for his team. That's going to be followed by Metzenarus, and once again the crossbar. Striking accuracy really costing Method right now, as it was AERIALITY who it cost last game. Flame will try and push this one. It's going over to Metzenarus. Just trying to find his teammates. More passing plays coming out from AERIALITY. But it seems like they are fully aware of the mistakes they have previously made, and every single time being shut down, running forward for those blocks.
And you're right, though. It really does feel like Method are the faster team, but sometimes that pace gets the better of them, and they find themselves all just a bit too close in the wrong half. And that's where it seems that AERIALITY has been capitalizing.
Well, for Method, it's a very simple bit of math. It either works or it doesn't. There is no in-between for them.
That's math?
Yeah, it's Rocket League math. We'll go for that.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Let's be honest.
You have the right answer or you don't. Nah, you know what? I'll take it. No, you're good. I shouldn't have called you out. That was fine, Shogun. Ignore me. Oh, Magnus going for the bump.
Tylacto tries to take over. AERIALITY becoming more comfortable around the rest of the pitch. Alot's going to try and take that pass one, but he did get bumped, unable to try and go for the follow-up. AERIALITY now focusing on that defensive flame. Wants that off the backboard. Does not have the ability to go for that second touch, but still. A regular rotation now being employed by AERIALITY. They do not want to be beat with no one left in the net as they look for their first win in the RLCS. They're going to keep doing it. Just keep pressuring, and it wastes more time.
Yeah, and you'd think with only 10 seconds left, Method would try and keep control, but we did just see them forcibly, and look at the way they're contesting it, forcing them to give up that control, continuum, trying to make sure to get the first flick.
Well, they had one more opportunity, but another good challenge meant that the pass could not come through. Method was starting to put the pieces together, but just not able to do so. Well played by AERIALITY. A very even game across the board.
Yeah.
But shooting accuracy, all it took to try and take the win for AERIALITY, as Method had a bad relationship with the woodwork.
Oh, a good relationship with the crossbar, that's for sure. Mets and Norris, there were 2 opportunities, 2 shots they should have had. And I think he knows it. I don't need to remind him. Don't watch this back, Mets. All right? You already know. Trust me, we all know you know. You saw it happen the moment you hit the crossbar. You probably dropped your controller for half a second, you know, punched your desk, and then went back to defense.
So is there a little dent in it now, is there?
That's what I do. You should see my desk. It's actually just all a big dent now. It actually looks fine.
Yeah, carpet just like goes like that every single time.
Whoa,
something that's good. It's fine. It didn't come up on the mic.
Oh,
I know that. It's directional mic. But yeah, shot accuracy really coming through. AERIALITY though looking a lot more comfortable in that game. We're starting to see them contest that midfield so much more, looking for the passing plays rather than the individual plays, which I like so much because individually they're not going to beat Method. That's just not going to happen. But if they can try and contest that midfield, pull a player out, especially with a team that does try and be as fast as Method does.
And I think that because Method's so fast, they're always trying to get into position to help each other out. But then when they're getting contested before they can prep those plays up, then all of a sudden they have to be a lot more reactionary. While yes, they're quick, it does give AERIALITY that time to sneak in, find the holes to try and close those passing plays up.
Well, we're going to be heading over to the new map now, Champions Field. We're going to try and see who can take the lead and put themselves on game points, AERIALITY or Method. Tylacto is immediately going to try and go for it. That backboard is becoming the biggest problem as everyone is aiming for it and AERIALITY taking advantage.
For the longest time, we saw the backboard just wasn't useful, but now teams are hesitant to get on that backboard from time to time because they know that they can follow it up. They're getting good enough to chase it off the backboard from the ground, but that was just a bit too hard, leaving a wide open shot for his teammate. Continuum will put his team in the lead.
The thing that you see often in esports, counters get countered. That backboard got countered by putting people up on the backboard, ready and waiting for the ball. So what did people do to change that? Start passing into the midfield, allowing those shots to come in. Now it's a dangerous game to play. You've got to try and figure out what they're going to try and do. Another shot in, but Magnus gets the save, but does not turn it in. AERIALITY, the opportunity to try and go 2 goals up. Tylacto going forward, recognizing that the play was not coming in. Method really starting to look shaky now, a lot slower. Seems like they are starting to respect AERIALITY maybe a little bit too much. For a way through, that is a big miss though from Tylacto. There's a big miss from the entirety of AERIALITY. There's a lot, just could not quite get it past the final defender who scrambled back immediately after the mistake. There's a lot, tries to turn that in. Just no contact. Every single time these plays being put together, just missing that final bit of the puzzle. We have now down the first 90 seconds in this 3rd game. Still, AERIALITY with the leads. Tylacto can't play it out from the midfield. You cannot afford to take your time against these guys. It's Flame once again, proving that to be true. Magnus tried to do it, and that is going to be punished by Flame getting himself a goal.
I couldn't tell if this first bump off the ceiling was going to put it in, but Flame didn't even want to risk it. Perfectly getting there. Mets almost getting it. That was actually a phenomenal attempt from Mets. He wasn't able to get there in time, but as you said, it seems that, you know, Method is respecting AERIALITY a bit too much, and this is kind of the flaw. You see this conversation come up in the community. Method, when they're on, they're so quick, almost the quickest. But when they're off, they really just seem to fall apart and let teams walk on them. So we'll see if they can pick it up in this series.
They've really struggled to find each other so far in this series. Whilst AERIALITY playing solid ever since those opening 2 kickoff goals have not really looked to be putting too many feet wrong. Norris puts that over to the corner. Continuum, though, can take the ball. Here comes Tylacto with an attempted dribble. It was actually Flame. But Magnus, either way, did get the challenge. And AERIALITY will be happy just to keep putting long balls away from their side. No need to control anymore, just boot it one.
Now it actually feels like Method are attempting to slow it down, but they're getting punished because AERIALITY seems to be firing up and picking up the pace. So they're shutting down all these dribble opportunities as well.
Comes Tylacto coming in. There's a lot actually covered the angle of the shot, so well played that block. Only one player in net. Method still looking for something. That is going to be a nice tap down. There will be no follow-up though from Metz, but still extra opportunities for Method. Starting to pepper the net with other shots. They need to control the two middle boosts as well, but that is a poor touch. Handing it straight back over to Continuum, and Method have got to start back again from square number one.
And they're always one touch away from getting so many counterattacks that will put so much threat on net, but they're always just missing a redirect or just missing a pass. If they can fix those, I think they'd have so many more threats.
Still 2 goals up. AERIALITY would love to put in a third. Might actually get an opportunity for that as well, but Tylacto found himself too close. It was a problem he had a lot as well during that Gfinity semi-final that he played with Flame and a lot. Just too close to the ball ever so often. That passing plays or shots off that backboard he could not react to. There's an opportunity. Once again, Method. This is rare for them. Really struggling with that backboard, not getting anything.
I think they're paying attention to their opponents too much. And in a situation like that, as a player, you pay attention to the ball. You just go for the shot and assume it's not going to get meddled with. Unless you know for a fact that it's going to get meddled with and you know exactly where it's going to go. You want to make sure you just go for the shot, because on the off chance, you know, it's a threes, you can kind of afford sometimes to take a risk and go for a shot. Oh, there it is!
A lot with an incredible redirect, but Magnus, that pass was just as sublime.
We saw him miss his last handful of redirect attempts, but this time, a lot sinks it in, giving them a minute to try and tie this game up.
First time that it has succeeded, and that is just what Method are capable of when they get it right. Zalot is going to find himself decides to go for a 360. Doesn't want anything to do with that high ball. It's the final 50 seconds. Method have turned this one into a real match. Lot putting that one up high. Seems like they are now questioning AERIALITY's experience in this game. Want to see if they're going to make the mistake that will allow Method to tie this one up. A flick there from Flame, not quite as good as he wanted it to be. Unable to beat anyone or go on to the net. That is another shot, and a lot is the king of that midfield right now. You have to challenge him.
He just doesn't want to retreat anymore. He puts himself up there. He wanted to go up there and maybe mess with Tylacto or just give his teammates a target. A lot is being there to relieve the pressure from Magnus and Metz. You don't need to do a lot on defense, because just give it up to me. Don't worry. I'll help make sure it's either a clear or a shot on target. And tied up within only 30 seconds of their last goal, we will see Method try and come back.
Metz Norris, who's had such a quiet game, is going to be so happy. A lot once again. Tried to turn it in, but it was too much to do. Magnus and a lot. Usually we consider Metz Norris and Magnus to be the duo, but a lot has really put himself forward in this team as of late. They've been together for such a long period of time now, but they know each other inside and out, and that is going to be overtime. AERIALITY going to be kicking themselves over this 2-goal lead given up in the final minute.
And they're tied up in this series. Whoever wins this will put themselves ahead and be 1 game away from
taking a demolition. Metz Norris, quiet game doesn't matter because a loud demo comes through. And he can put that one straight into the net. A lot, once again, such heads up play.
I don't like calling carries very often, and I think I said this yesterday, but a lot just carried his team to victory there. Unbelievable shots from him, really coming in when they needed him, thinking on his toes, making sure to get that demolition. He knew it was fresh off a kickoff, fresh on overtime when most teams will play super passive. How do you break through a 3-man defense? You blow one up.
Incredible, absolutely incredible game there. Method take the win in dramatic fashion. 2 goals to the lead, and a lot beats the defender, beats physics itself to put them within reach, and then just take a look at this one more time.
I mean, those are as pretty as it gets.
That's a 1-pixel shot. You hit it with anything else,
yep,
it doesn't go in. But a lot, what a goal that was indeed. I'm happy that we got to see it 3 times over the last 5 minutes, because that's just, actually 4, because we got the after-goal replay as well.
Yeah, that's true.
You're getting treated here, ladies and gentlemen, but yeah, I have to agree with you. What a great game from a lot. If you've got him in your fantasy, you've got to be smiling right now.
I'm not smiling. I don't think he's in mine.
I don't think he's in mine. I put Metza.
I've got, yeah. I forgot mine already, so we'll see. We'll see how I'm faring. But either way, I mean, to be able to turn it around halfway through that, when it seemed like Method were doing what the community usually gets, like, a lot of their fans get frustrated because it's like, we see you guys do so good, and then what happens? You guys lose these series that it feels like you totally should have. But halfway through that game, they're like, you know what? We're going to get back to what we know. We're going to play and show you guys what Method is all about. A lot came out for his team, but Mets and Magnus holding strong as well. They come up in this series, one more, and they'll take it.
Such a good way to adapt as well, recognizing the aeriality, doing what they did against the leftovers last week, putting players onto their goal line and slingshotting them towards challenges. How do you beat that? Well, you control the midfield, and that's exactly what a lot did after some sublime passes from Magnus. As Method are going to continue their momentum on a 3-goal streak, unchallenged by AERIALITY, who now are going to have to try and prove a lot of questions about their RLCS credentials.
You can see how many players from AERIALITY are double committing, and that was a chance for Method to try and keep the pressure up, but a lot realizing, no! Flame was actually able to get that around a lot. It was facing the wrong direction. A lot had retreated, I suppose, to try and put himself on defense, but then what happened? He hesitated on that contest. He wanted to go for it, and then he changed his mind, then he turned around, then he didn't even stop at the post at the right time. And Flame, watching all that happen in front of him, sinks it in.
You saw Flame go for one shot and then say, you know what, I've seen a lot. He is out of position. He can't do anything about this. So well played by him to not let the nerves get to him and actually take his time with the shot. There's those midfield plays coming out yet again from Method. Starting to really find their form. But Norris will be by himself against Continuum. That is now pushed into the corner. AERIALITY trying to force something. They have managed to get themselves a shot, but a lot. On that goal line, ready to rotate himself in and take it away. Series point for Method. They've still got work to do. Naris actually got plenty of time to try and go for something. That was a lot of boost used. But it does give Method the opportunity to continue their pressure, which will be used off that backboard. Now starting to put more players on that backboard, though, is AERIALITY. They don't want it, so how do you counter that? They put it straight back towards the midfield. Counter for counter play coming out by these two European squads. And that's going to be a big block, almost turned in, but the post. He's back. Method, don't have an argument with him again.
AERIALITY just feels so suffocated right now. Constant shots coming on, and it's going to oh, there it is. It's a breakthrough eventually. Tylacto trying to go out, he actually tried to demolition someone, which I actually really liked. He just wanted to slow it down enough for them to pick up some boost and try and, you know, gather their senses. But he was able to dodge the demolition, which means Tylacto was then out of position, and his teammates were struggling for boost. All they had to do is just keep smacking it around them one by one. You saw them, they weren't even going for net. They're just like, yeah, we'll get it around defenders until they're out of them.
Yep, they knew that everyone was coming forward. This is going to be an opportunity for a passing play of AERIALITY's own, but a lot. Second save for him. Pushing that over into the corner. Lot's now got Magnus to aim for. Plenty of boost as well for the pass. Too powerful. Still able to find that wall. Every time you're able to land on the wall, so much quicker to recover, and that does help out. It's the reason why it is so painful to watch players dive in for midfield challenges. A lot tries to get himself forward. It's going to be a difficult shot to go for, but Magnus has an opportunity, and Flame has managed to pinch that straight off and coast to coast. AERIALITY retake the lead.
So in situations like this, when you see someone going up for a difficult shot like that, a lot's retreating, Naris was facing the net. You have to try and figure out, what do we do if everything goes crazy? And sometimes that happens in Rocket League. Sometimes a pinch goes super in favor of one team and really not in favor of another. I don't know. You think, Shogi, you think they should have sent somebody back to be ready for something like that, or maybe just not contest that shot?
It's one of those hindsight things. We're always going to say someone should have been back, but you don't expect them when they happen in the corner. Yeah. You're not going to expect it, especially in that situation. An incredibly rare thing. So no, I would not give up Method's speed and ability to have someone ready if that goal does go open, just to leave one person back for the 1 in 100.
Well, 1 in 100 seems to have taken them down right now. They are down 1 goal, 2 goals, Flame! What a strike, beautifully into the corner. No one expected this. Naris didn't even bother jumping, thinking that this was fine a lot. No one even went for it. Beautiful shot from Flame.
Hard angle, reverse aerial, top corner. Flame with his best goal of the 3 that is now picked up with his hat trick. As a lot does miss. AERIALITY could be about to force the first tiebreaker game of this season of the RLCS. We did not see any yesterday during North America. As Gibbs asked for more games, To be a lot tighter today, he might be about to get his wish. Gonna go long. Tylacto's gonna be by himself. Waited, and instead of playing the shot, Magnus plays the man.
They have been playing counterattacks all day. Mets getting the first one around, pulling 2 defenders out individually. Then Magnus just wanting to get up there. Tylacto, you better come try and defend this, because if you don't, I'm putting it in. And it didn't matter. He put it right around Tylacto. But even had he not, he had his third player right underneath him for wherever that 50-50 was going.
And AERIALITY have already dropped a lead, a 2-goal lead, with much less time remaining than this time. Method giving themselves options. They now don't have to go for panic plays, and it does mean AERIALITY will start to question themselves a little bit more as they try and prioritize defense. 0 boost, but 0 defense. We are all tied up, Carpet.
Alad has just thinking so well. He forced Flame into that and then just destroyed Continuum in that contest. He tried to get the tackle to slow Alad down, but it did not matter. He just put his body behind that ball, ensured that it went in his favor, and they will tie it up again after it looked so dire for them.
AERIALITY must win this match if we are to continue, otherwise they will take their first loss of the season. Continuum puts that one up long. There's Metanaris though pushing it straight down. A lot's going to continue trying to follow it up. Looking so confident right now as a lot as he tries to put that one up high, but Magnus is not able to get himself a goal. I think Meth will be happy to just try and out-boost Starve. There's 2 players put together for very little result for AERIALITY, and now Meth will be allowed to move forward. Magnus takes his time, moves Tylacto out of position. That is still dangerous. Flame, it's not a great touch, but he does get into the corner. And AERIALITY playing survival right now.
Had to make 10 saves, by the way. AERIALITY has 10 saves.
5 of them on 1 player. That's going to be yet another one needed. Flame doesn't get credited with a save, but it was crucial nonetheless. So Method, it has been all them towards the latter half of this game, but can they convert it before heading into overtime? It must now hit the floor for us to get there, and Tylacto will happily let that one go down.
Shogun, I don't know if I've ever seen this. In regulation time, Method had 18 shots.
I've seen 21.
21 in regulation time? That's without overtime?
Yes. I also think I've seen 14 saves from SK Gaming once against Flipside.
That's bananas.
It was ridiculous. I've never seen a more defensive game. Guess what? That was a 1-0 win for SK.
Oh, season 1 run.
I think that was even before that.
That's true.
I think that was like Pro League or something like that. But the important news right now, AERIALITY must now find a goal. They did it last week in one of the longest overtimes we've had in the RLCS against the Leftovers. They now have to find it in themselves yet again. They want to try and force a tiebreaker. I'd be so scared right now if I was AERIALITY, seeing people go for those challenges, trying to use the ceiling. That's actually pulled 2 players out from Method, but the recovery from Magnus was good enough. The original save was also good enough to push into the corner, so not too much danger. Seems like both teams have suddenly realized what position they are in and just calmed it down a little bit more. Big block. Pushing it over into the AERIALITY side, continuing to play long balls. Will not trouble Method, but it does give pressure back over to AERIALITY. Tylacto will be that last man. Well played to put that one low, seeing Metanaris was coming in for that block. Both of them looking for that backboard. There's going to be a shot early. 2 players committed, but once again, no one available on AERIALITY to try and go for a shot. Continuum just didn't want anyone to take the shot. He's going to be forced to try and get a save. It's not too great. He cannot recover on that wall either, so allowing the shot to come in. Down to the last side. And Method are going to take the win and the series.
In overtime, a minute 41 in, Mets gets the hard cut. Flame actually had a great predict had Mets not been too good for him. I'm impressed he was able to get that hard angle. Flame clearly wasn't ready for it. And Metanaris will be the one to get the final goal to give them their first win in RLCS Season 4.
What a performance it was from both teams. AERIALITY really showing up and putting pressure on one of the top teams on Europe. But Method, they had some shaky parts, but when they were good, they were good. Basically like Method as always.
That is the conversation about Method. And they seemed to struggle with consistently keeping up that they were good parts. But it seems that, you know, they they wobbled a bit in the middle, and then they just picked it right back up, which I think is super promising for them moving forward. But AERIALITY, with 2 complete new people in the RLCS, we've never, Tylacto and Flame have not been able to compete in the RLCS league play. Clearly coming out strong, though, because Method should be one of their harder opponents, and they were able to keep these games 1 goal, overtime. They nearly almost tied up the series, brought it to a Game 5. I think it's really big for them, too.
Well, for AERIALITY, the big question for their season will be, can they get the crucial 3 wins that will make them pretty much safe from the promotion relegation tournament? I think that's pretty much everyone's expectations for them. If they can improve upon this, that is a very reasonable goal indeed. However, we are done over here, Carpet. Great introduction to Europe, but let's see what our analysts thought.
Yeah, awesome series there from, honestly, both teams. Method and AERIALITY coming out very strong, but ultimately Method very nicely played a 3-1 victory to get their first victory in league play. Axel Toss back here on the desk with Gibbs and James Bott. We're about to check out the Mobile One high-performance replay from that match as we take another look at exactly how Method was able to accomplish that 3-1 victory.
And history did not repeat itself. Method does come out and get the 3-1 victory over a team that they should beat. But it was not easy. They did have a ton of shots more, but in Game 2, I was a little worried because AERIALITY won 2-1, but both goals were wide open nets. And that was the one problem I found with Method, was they were leaving their net open just a little bit too much.
Yeah, and they also really seem to be struggling to read things off of the backboard. Both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, we saw a lot of misreads, but still a lot. I talked about him week 1, he struggled. He came out, he performed. 5 goals, 4 assists, leading his team in both of those categories, scoring almost half the goals for his squad. He really did amazingly in that Game 3 where he scored those 2 goals in the final minute, then got the demo in overtime. That was incredible. And then just too much pressure by Method in that overtime. Again, that was just a good response by Method. It could have been such a different story. 2 overtime games in 3 and 4. This one could have easily been a 3-1 victory for AERIALITY. So I still think, though, give him a lot of credit because he really was key in that turning point of Game 3.
I saw that look. I saw that look, Gibbs. I saw it. Honestly,
I didn't mean to do that.
I know.
I didn't even realize what I did.
It's a common word that is used a lot in the English language.
It's a strange name.
Honestly, though, guys, I agree 100%. Like, awesome series, first of all, to start things off. I feel like we had, like, highlight caliber plays. They just kept coming. We just had awesome play after awesome play from these guys. I feel like maybe there was a period of, getting into it, and then once both those teams were just on fire, it was just an absolute pleasure to watch. Great series there. Congrats to Method, a 3-1 victory there over AERIALITY. And a question for you guys. Both of these teams play later. So what would you like to see AERIALITY really focus on and really improve? They're playing against Gale Force in their next match. It's a tough first week here for AERIALITY. Yes. Light expectations of that. What would you like to see out of AERIALITY moving forward if they're going and having conversations right now to prepare for that match?
It's going to be tough because they played Gale Force last week, and it was kind of just Gale Force had all the pressure. Very similar to this series. They did have good defense, but it's very hard to win a series when you have 22 saves and only 22 shots. So it's very hard where you can't get out of your own end. They have to find a way to win those midfield plays, or while they're trying for the clears, don't try and do one-man clears. Try and pass it to a teammate laterally so he gets a lot of power on the clear and then bring everyone up. It's going to be tough for them versus Gale Force because they didn't look great against them last week.
Yeah, it's just going to be a struggle. I don't think there's really much they can do other than, exactly what Gibbs said. But when you're going against a team that just outclasses you, it's going to be rough because it's so hard to match that pace. But from Method, I think it's pretty clear. They had some really smart plays. They had some passing plays on the breakout, just like you mentioned. One of them was, I think, Met's right to a lot at half, and he got that long-range goal. But they really just need to tighten up their reads off the backboard. That seemed to be just glaring mistake after mistake. And then the accuracy problems of them hitting the crossbar. So they cleaned those 2 things up. They would have, run a train on AERIALITY this game.
And Method is playing Envy in our 3rd match of the day. So we have 5 matches to get today again, ladies and gents. So make sure you stay tuned to RLCS.gg. Again, a great resource if you're wanting to know more information about the Rocket League Championship Series, including standings, including schedule. All information about the RLCS can be found there. That being said, we're going to take a short break here from twitch.tv/Rocket League. When we come back, we have Gale Force entering the pitch. They're going to be facing off against Frontline in our next match of the day as we continue covering Day 1, Week 1 of League play for the European region for RLCS Season 4. We'll be right back.